Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today is part 3 of my app settings video series. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2, what are you doing here? Go watch 1 and 2 and then come on back. All right, so we're up to the point now where we've got this text box here that reads values from the main menu notes in the settings table. Now we want to be able to write them back. Now, writing them back is a little more difficult than reading them, but it's something we can handle. In fact, I did something very similar in this fast tip video I did a while back called Notes Anywhere, where I show you how you can literally do the same thing. Drop a notes box anywhere you want. Oh, someone's beaming in. But again, this involves VLOOKUPs and then manual SQL. We're going to wrap this in a function. So if you want to get a leg up, go watch this Notes Anywhere video first. It's basically what we're doing, but we're wrapping that in a function so you can do it anywhere in your database. So let's go right to the global module, and we're going to write our put value function, or put setting function. I always change the names in my brain. Okay. Now this can be a subroutine because it doesn't have to return a value. You could optionally make it so that it returns a true or false status if it was able, and if it fails, then you can put up a message or abort it somehow. But we're going to keep it simple for now. So public sub, it's a subroutine. Put setting is the name. Now we're going to send into it 2 values: the setting name and the setting value. In other words, which setting are you trying to change, like the main menu notes or the default state, all right? And then what's the value you want to assign to that in the table? And I'm going to specify for these by val. Remember the by val versus by ref? The default is by ref, so if anything changes the value, it could modify the original. We don't want to allow that just in case in the future you make some changes, all right? So we got setting name as a string, and then by val setting value. Now, here's the key. We're going to make this a variant. What is a variant? A variant basically can be any data type, including nulls. You want to allow nulls to come in here because you might want to blank that value in the table, right? If the user blanks the value in that setting notes, it might send a null value in here. And if you declare that as a string, it'll force an error. So we're going to declare that as a variant. Okay? Basically, it can accept any value type, dates, booleans, numbers, and null values. Okay, that's what a variant is. Got a whole separate video on variants. Now we are going to use a record set to write this. You could use an SQL statement, but then you got to worry about escaping quotes and all that stuff. A record set is just easier and cleaner. So dim rs as a record set. And if you didn't watch my record set video and you're wondering what a record set is, go watch it. That's why I give you prerequisites. All right. On error, resume next. Just some real simple error handling in case of an error. Yeah, you should ideally add some more robust error handling here so you can pop up error messages if the stuff isn't successful. But again, for class, we're keeping it simple. Now, if is null setting name or the setting name equals an empty string, then pop up an error message, do whatever you want. I'm just exiting the sub. Okay, ideally, again, you shouldn't have that problem because setting name is something you, the developer, specify, right? The value is what the user is sending in, okay? Now we're going to trim both of those and make sure they're string values. So setting name equals trim C string setting name. It should already be a string. We're just double checking to make sure. And we're going to do the same thing with the setting value. All right, we're going to convert it to a string and trim it. So if they send in a date value, it's going to get converted to a string and then trimmed to make sure there's no extra spaces at the beginning or the ending. Okay, so now we have 2 valid strings that we can confidently save to our table. Now, just in case the value's already in the table, we're going to delete it and then add it again. This is easier than trying to look up the value to see if it's already there. And if it's there, then we edit it. If not, then we add it. That's a lot of work. So we're just going to delete the value if it's already in the table and then add it new. All right. So to delete the value, that's simple. We can just use a little SQL statement for that. So CurrentDb.Execute delete from setting t where setting name equals open quotes setting name and close quotes. All right, CurrentDb.Execute allows you to execute an SQL statement. It's very similar to do command.run SQL. I got videos for both of those things. There's a video you can watch that explains the two of them and the difference between them. All right, so we deleted that value if it's in the table already. Now it's a very simple matter to just simply add it. So set rs equals CurrentDb.open record set. What are we opening? Setting T. All right, just open the setting T and then rs add new. We're adding a new record. Rs setting name equals the setting name that I sent in. Rs setting value equals the setting value that I sent in. That's now a valid string, right? Because we converted it to a string. Rs update, save the value to the table. Rs.close. And then if you set it, you got to forget it. That's on a mouse pad. Set rs equals nothing. And that's it. And I prefer the record set method because, again, setting value could be anything. And if you use an SQL string like this and the user puts quotes in there or anything that could break the string, then you got to worry about it. This is so much better and easier. Okay? But for the delete, it's simple because you only got to worry about this one value. And setting name is something you control. The end user can't type in a setting name. You set the setting name. So you're not going to make it a bad name when you develop the database, right? Okay, debug compile once in a while. Now we've got PutSetting available. So where do we put it? Well, we put it wherever we want to save that value. Like, for example, when the user changes this text box. So you come into here, you open up this guy, you go into his after update event. And I got a bunch of blank lines in there. I don't know why. We'll get rid of those. Now, after this is updated, we're going to PutSetting main menu notes, comma, main menu notes. Set it the value of whatever's in that field. And if this confuses you, you can always say .value, but that's understood because it's the default property. You don't need that. Save it. Again, debug compile. Close it. Close it. Open it. Watch my database move again. And now we just got more laptops in. Good to go sell team. Now, when you close it, it saves it because that was in the after update event. As soon as you leave that field or close the form, it saves it. Open it back up again. Boom, there you go. And now it's saved in the table. And I got to keep moving my database around. I fixed that in the last video. If you want to test it with something else, let's test it with that default state value, for example. Let's come up here. Let's pretend that this is a manager menu. Okay, pretend. It's no longer the main menu. It's a manager menu. All right, and we'll put the default state in here for the manager to change. Okay, so in here, let's change this to default state. And we're going to set the control source equal to nothing. Get rid of the format. Okay. Now, for the default value in here, I'm going to bring in what the default value is now. So GetSetting default state. Okay. Save that. Let's close it. Open it back up again. All right. So we got the New York in there. Let me move this over now. We got the New York in there. That's what we had. Now let's put an after update event in here to change that. Okay. So event after update right there. Okay. PutSetting default state. Give it the default state text box value. Okay. So again, pretending that's a manager only field. Now, if I come in here and make this California, hit tab, leave that field somehow so that event runs. Now, when you go to add a new customer, California pops in there because you changed it in the table. Okay. That's the value of having that GetSetting and PutSetting. And again, only the manager can do that. Not everybody can do that. Or you might want to allow the users to change that. That's up to you, right? If you're going to enter in a whole bunch of new records from Texas, let's say you got 15 orders from Texas, just come in here. You can change that to Texas. And now when you open up this, it'll be Texas. But it'll be Texas for everybody. Okay? Now, if you like learning this kind of stuff and you like my style, you enjoy learning from me, come check out my developer lessons. I teach this stuff in the order that it's supposed to be learned. So we start with the basics and then we build upon it. Each lesson builds on the one before it. So you're not jumping around watching all these different videos that I have to do here in the Tech Help series. Okay, so check out my developer lessons. There's a link right there. And in the extended cut for the members, we're going to do a couple different things. First, when the database loads, we're going to check to see if that settings table exists. And if it doesn't, we're going to create it automatically. All right, that's good if you want to drop this code into a brand new database. Right, you just copy in that module code that I gave you earlier, and then when the database starts up, it says, oh, I don't see a settings table. Let me create it for you. Then all you have to do is go in there and put whatever values you want in there. You don't have to build the table every time or copy it from another database. I'll show you how to work with system colors so you can set defaults for the different colors on the page, like the form background and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of neat. And we're going to make these settings user-specific, so each user can have their own settings. Right? Joe might have a default state that's Florida. Tammy might have Texas as her area that she works with, so her default's Texas. Every user can have their own user-specific system settings, like the main menu notes. They can be set for each user, so they can type in their own notes there. All right? That's all covered in the extended cut for the members. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos. Gold members can download these databases that I build, and you get access to my code vault, where all of this code, well, not all of it, but 99% of the code that I make in these tech help videos and stuff, and even in some of my lessons, goes in the code vault. It's all in there. You can just say, okay, where's the GetSetting code? Search for it on my website. It'll take you right to it. Plus, everybody gets some free training, and if you're a platinum member, you get a free developer level course every month after you finish the beginner and expert series. So you get lots and lots of training. Everybody gets some stuff. Check it out. There's the link right there. You'll find a link down below. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments down below. But that's going to do it for your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this little 3-part series. Let me know how I did. Post a comment down below. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. And make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that Show More link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are from my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos. Plus, you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject. And you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.